Welcome to Watch and Complain, episode 190.
190?
190? I don't know. Today we're talking about The Last of Us, episode 9.
Everybody's already talked about it. We're very late to the game.
We're very late. But you know what? If you have not watched the show yet, you should probably watch The Last of Us, episode 9, and then come back.
The last of The Last of Us.
It's not the last, because
But
there's
it's
going to
the
be another
last
season.
of the first of the
There's going to
first
be like
season.
2 more seasons.
I think, is that what they said? 3 seasons?
Well, the next season will do... Okay, so the next season will be part 1 of the second game. And then the season after that will be like pretty much part 2 of the second game.
Has the second game out yet?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been out for a while.
I don't know.
They've
I don't play the
remastered
game.
it and everything.
I don't play games.
They've actually probably remastered it
Except
twice.
with people's hearts.
And then probably season 4 will coincide or be after the next Last of Us game comes out.
The one where Ellie becomes a cyborg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cyborg Ellie. In the
Sully.
future.
Yep. After humanity has been taken over
It's kind of like 11.
by mushrooms. And it's like living mushrooms. And it turns into Mario Land. And they got to bounce around on mushrooms and eat them and shit.
The Last of Us, episode 9.
I will say that this was one of the lower ranking episodes for me. It felt like, what's the right way to put it? It felt like more of the same, trotting down the same road, and then you knew what Joel was going to do. I think they just wanted to drive it home because it was a good episode. You know, like I'm not taking anything away from it, but when Joel goes, "Where is Ellie?" I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, he's not going to let this happen. He's just going to and he's going to kill everyone to get to her.
Driving home that he's finally the father.
Yeah, and he's like, and he's a father, and he's a guy that will do anything to protect those who he cares about. He'll kill everyone to protect her, right? Mm-hmm. And I kind of like, yeah, he's gonna. And I'd never played the game before, so I got the vibe that in the game you're supposed to kill everyone till you get to Ellie in the operating room, maybe. But
And then playable cutscene.
maybe, yeah, exactly. But it just that whole scene felt like
Decide
this is
if
cool.
you kill the doctor or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you?
Oh, absolutely, I would have.
In a post-apocalyptic
What would
time
be,
when there's a scarcity on surgeons,
I subscribe to
the
the
surgeon
to the
didn't
Day
do
of the
anything
Dead,
wrong.
to the Day of the Dead ideology. Sure, we're the last refuge, but the last refuge of what? Like it's worth saving the world if it's maybe 50-50. It's worth saving the world if there's a world to go back to. But there's no world to go back to. So I totally see what Joel is like. You know what? Let's go live our life together as father and daughter. And fuck it. I just want you as my daughter. The world is never coming back. And the way that's kind of how that's how I felt Joel saw the world.
Yeah.
Nothing is coming back. It's never going back to what it was. Fuck it. I just want to find a little shred.
He gave
of
up
happiness.
on that a long time ago.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, this is not a big surprise that he's going to blow everybody away. So it's not that it was boring, but I was like, it didn't go anywhere new. It didn't tread to any new territory that I wanted it to. But it was a fine episode. It just I wish the show would have gone out on a bigger, better one. In my opinion.
In a flashback. Flash black.
Yeah, a black flash black. That's where the whole screen's just black. You have no idea what's going on.
That could work.
A flash black.
If it's descriptive.
Descriptive audio.
Don't you love that?
And it says like night. Everything's quiet. No stars.
How are they going to read it?
Oh, shit. That's a good point.
In a flashback, Ellie's mother, Anna, is bitten by an infected as she gives birth to Ellie. She is found by Marlene, who hesitantly takes Ellie and kills Anna at the latter's request. So we did from this, we get that
Ellie was
Ellie's
once a baby.
mother was bitten, but the idea is that the
She had
infection didn't get enough to the baby.
Yeah, she had not 100% turned or even all. I feel like it was in her bloodstream, but it wasn't enough to take her over yet.
Yeah. In the present day.
Now, I just want to draw a comparison to a comic book series very similar to that same ideology, which is Blade. Because remember, Blade, his mother was bitten, and he was born. Right? She was bit in the of when he was getting birthed. So that's what made him the Daywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
You are correct.
that's a genre, or not a genre. That's a trope that's been used before. Remember when they used it in Star Wars when Princess Leia gave birth to Yoda?
It's really difficult to be unique.
But you
remember,
have to
remember
be.
that, kids.
You have to be unique.
You don't have to be unique. You have to be yourself, whatever that is.
Fuck what this guy says. He's wrong. What you should be is unique. That means get on TikTok, start getting naked, start getting an OnlyFans, and getting people to subscribe for it. Start showing off your toes and doing shit like that. Selling feet pics, selling underwear, everything.
Because that's what we do on Grindr, and it funds the show.
Goddamn right it does. How much underwear I go through?
And just before this? In the present day, Joel tells Ellie of his failed suicide after Sarah's death. Firefly soldiers capture Ellie and knock Joel unconscious. After Joel awakens in a hospital, Marlene explains that doctors are preparing Ellie for surgery in hopes of developing a cure. And Joel protests when he realizes the procedure will kill her and she doesn't know.
This is where my interest started to wane. Because as soon as Joel hits the ground, the guy fucking like punches him in the stomach or knees him in the stomach something. And he's like, where is she? As soon as Joel went, where is she? I was like, he's going to kill everybody. So it was just like, come on, guys. The same thing, when you're watching John Wick and John was getting beat, and he hit the ground. You're like, dude, just get out. I know you're going to start killing everybody. I want to get to that part. That's the part I'm waiting for.
But it's like a script. You can't just get to
And
the
I
point.
get
You
it.
got to go through
I
the
just-
stuff and
because I knew where it was going. It just
burn your arm.
It just felt that Joel, and he says as much when he says like I can't remember the exact part that he says, but when they're walking through the field, baseball field, and he says, I don't know, it's not a question anymore. He doesn't question how he feels about her. He knows he loves her, and they say it in so many words without saying it, right?
Yeah.
So once I said that, I'm
they've
like,
been doing that the whole series.
but this is where he actually said, like, it's not a question for him anymore. I can't remember the exact way he said it, but it was a wonderful way that he said it. And that's where it was, I wasn't thinking Joel was wrestling with anything philosophically. I wanted to figure a better wrong way to say it, but whatever. I didn't feel that he was wrestling with anything physiologically. I felt like he was, I'm just going to kill everyone to get to Ellie.
I think it just came down to the fact that if she's going to die, no. But
So I didn't even think
also, it wasn't her choice.
but he let the nurses live, right? And that's why he tells the doctor, let her up,
Surgeon, sure.
right? Surgeon, whatever. Let her up. And the doctor says, but she could save so many.
Boom.
Bang. Let her up.
You don't
know
get
what
a
I mean?
chance. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like, that saying when you see a guy break into a cockpit of a plane and he goes, who's in charge? And the pilot goes, I am. Bang. Shoots him in the head. Like, over the co-pilot, who's in charge?
Because the longer it takes, the more people are going to show up.
It is, but I mean, the whole point was, I'm taking her out of here. If I have to fucking kill all of you, I am 100% prepared to do it with no struggle. You know what I mean? With no bat of an eye. Excuse me. I will just kill you.
So something's happening to the human race. And it turns out they have to kill your child for everyone else to survive. What's your quandary?
My quandary would be
quandary.
my ethical quandary would be how much of humanity still exists. So how much of a world would we go back to if
Where's
if they did
your
this?
line in the sand? Is it 3 people that survive compared to the 1, or is it 50,000? Is it 50 billion? What?
Look at the state of the world. So use right now as the example. If it is right now, yes. My answer would be yes. It would be a hard thing to do, but I understand that the needs. I've watched enough Star Trek 2 to know that the needs of many outweigh the needs of the few, right? Or the one, as Spock would say.
So in this world, there's probably hundreds of millions still left on the planet.
I highly doubt it. And because I can't see them, no. The world that we'll go back to is shit. It's garbage.
Keep in mind, hundreds of millions is still a lot less than.
But the world
8
you
billion.
go back to is garbage. It's all destroyed. I don't want to rebuild from that. I don't want to live in that fucking
But you
world.
could rebuild.
That's why I like what they're saying in Day of the
But then
Dead.
you're being selfish because the people.
Of course I'm being selfish. I don't want my
peop-
kid to die for nothing.
The people that, yeah, but then your kid's gonna die anyway.
But he's gonna
that's
die
the
with
point.
me?
Like, is it better for the kid to die to save hundreds of millions of people and have a chance for the world to become something, or I don't know where I'm going.
No, I'd be if it was the world as it appears in The Last of Us, I would be fuck the world. My kid is mine. He is the last vestige of happiness that I have. Fuck all of this. But if it was a world like we have now, and we discovered that,
COVID's gonna kill us all.
except for one rare antibody that my son has, yes, I will save the hundreds of billions of children that will be born because this world will still survive. The world of The Last of Us is dead and deserves to die. So that's why Joel takes Ellie and is like, look, I'm going to keep this last vestige of happiness that I have. I lost my first daughter. I'm going to keep my second daughter and fuck the rest of the world. I will kill everything that stands in the way of that happiness.
It's also one of those situations where it would be hard to decide until you're in that situation, for sure. Because think of what he's gone through. He would be more morose to the world than you are.
Oh, fuck. But also, he would be like, I'm sure if I had to kill somebody, I would not be able to do it. And I'd probably hesitate and be terrified and cry, like a baby.
How weird is that? Where it would seem like you would find it easy depending on the situation. Whereas me, I feel like I could just do it.
I think
Maybe I'm a homicidal.
But it's also, I wouldn't be able to kill, and I don't think anybody should be able to kill someone with no reason. But if there was a reason, if someone comes in and is threatening my family's life, I could blow them apart in a fucking second, right? But I couldn't just walk up to someone on the street and just shoot them.
True.
But yeah, if someone is trying to hurt some person you care about, sometimes you got to kill them. I was watching a great interview.
Which isn't like Florida. We're in Ontario, so it doesn't happen.
But I was watching a great interview on Instagram with the site Lad Bible, where they were talking to a bunch of ex-military veterans. One guy was a sniper, and they said, how many they were interviewed before.
What
them,
a
like,
life, jeez.
They were like, how many of you have killed people? How did you feel after you killed someone? And all of them were quiet. And the sniper guy was the first one to speak up. And he's like, nothing can prepare you for it. He goes, I felt like shit for days afterwards. And I had to learn that when I look at somebody through my scope, I can't see them as people. As soon as I start seeing them as people, then all this morality starts flooding your brain. And as soon as that morality, you'll go insane. You'll lose your mind.
Yeah, because you can't decide things for yourself in that situation.
But he brings up, so he takes all the moral quandary out of it, and he goes, if you don't see them as people, you just listen to the green lights. He goes, because everybody thinks, we watch on TV and it's like, okay, you've got the kill shot, go, bang, you shoot him, you're dead. He's like, no, there is, okay, I've got the green light from this team, green light from the other team, green light from the other team, green light from that team's upper. He goes, it takes a while before everybody says, you have green light from every team. You can go ahead and do what you think needs to be done. He goes, but the whole time they're deciding that you've got this person in your sights that, guys, they're getting away. I need an answer right now. And he goes, but yeah, I felt like shit. He goes, but if you start seeing them as people, he goes, and that's when I realized if you see them as people, that's where the problem begins. And he goes, so if I saw anybody in my sight, they weren't a person. And it sucks to have to become like that, but imagine what happens if you don't. Imagine what happens if you have that moral quandary with every person you shoot at. And I feel like, the reason I'm bringing it up is I feel like Joel now doesn't have that anymore. Ellie and Tommy are all that exist.
Oh, I think he's learning to have it again. I think for a long time he
maybe.
didn't have it because he had to be this horrible person.
My point is, Ellie and Tommy are all that exist. Everyone else, he will mow through to get to Ellie and Tommy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they are a threat. It doesn't matter if they are just in his way. If necessary, he will mow through them. Like that doctor posed no threat. But he was like, that is what I'm trying to get to. If you stand in my fucking way, I will take you down.
He actually did pose a threat because of timing, but yes.
But the doctor effectively, he held a gun at the doctor was like, but no, all the blah, 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 the people will say, you know?
Yeah.
And if any of those nurses were like, well, no, like, come on, dude, she's going to say to the next one, let her the fuck up, you know? And I totally agree with Joel in that respect. And I understand why people might be torn on it, which is good. This is what a good show does. But no, I bought into Joel being that guy. As soon as he said, where is she? When that first guy punched him in the stomach, I'm like, all right, I know where this is going.
Marlene orders Joel to be taken away. He escapes and kills several Firefly soldiers, including those who surrender, and kills Ellie's surgeon
He also
for
kills
resisting.
Marlene, right?
We'll get there. Joel carries an unconscious Ellie from the hospital. Marlene intercepts them, stating there is still time to find a cure, but Joel shoots and kills her.
Yeah.
When Ellie awakens, Joel lies and tells her the Fireflies had already failed to develop a cure from other immune people. As they hike to Jackson, Ellie insists that Joel swears his story. His story about the Fireflies is true. When he does so, she replies, "Okay," like she knows.
That confused me. The first time I watched it, I had to rewatch it to figure out, was there a different story he told her about the Fireflies? No, I was like, and then when I watched it again, I was like, no, dummy, the story he just told her. Which I was like, oh, yeah, the second viewing of it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what they were talking about.
It's funny how they can take a story that is actually quite small and make it 40 minutes or whatever, 40.
Yep.
Is it an hour on here?
No, this one, I think that's one thing that everybody was really pissed about, was it was the shortest episode of the series so far.
If it works, do it.
But again, it was one of the weaker shows for me of the entire series. Only because what happened in it, I wanted to be surprised, and I wasn't. But it's still good.
It was a means to an end to get to the next season.
Yep. And it's a bummer that it comes in 2025, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think people will enjoy it better that way.
Yep.
So, this series as a whole, how would you rate it?
I give this series, again, a not 8 out of 10, but this would be a 7.5 out of 10.
I would go 8.
It's a good show. It's well acted. It's well written.
Yeah.
But
it would be very good binged.
Yeah. Good point.
Definitely a binge show.
But I find that whenever Ellie and Joel aren't on the screen, my mind is starting to wander. So there wasn't a lot of other characters that I really cared about, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because when Joel and Ellie aren't on screen, I'm like, oh, look what color my ceiling is. You know what I mean?
And your favorite episode?
I think my favorite episode was the one, I believe it was show number 4, the one with Henry and Kevin was his younger brother's name.
Yeah.
Where they how that whole part goes through, and then Kevin gets bit, and then Ellie tries to save him, knowing she can't really save him, but she at least wanted to give him a little bit of hope. And the end of it ends with Henry and is it Henry and Sam? I believe Henry and Sam. Yeah, Sam. Him having to shoot Sam, and then he turns around and shoots himself in the head. That whole episode. The CG in it was great. The big fucking monster that comes up out of the ground was great. I really enjoyed that whole episode. I think it was my favorite.
My favorite is 7, Left Behind, the one in the mall.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one.
Say the outro, Phil.
Thank you. No.
We're sorry that you've been watching Complain. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, something else that I'm forgetting, and our website. And we're sorry that you've been watching a Complain. I already said that, but I said it twice because Phil's probably going to cut out the first one because he cut out a bunch of other stuff that I said in this episode against my will.
Like everything.
Where I talked about
It's just
9/11.
me talking the whole thing. It's 5 minutes.
And you have this, you'll cut little like single words out of all my sentences. We are happy you have been watching. Watch and complain.
No, I don't have to. You did it.
Exactly. Goodbye, everybody.